Greetings and salutations, friends. We are going to do a little bit more mock draft review here on this Thursday episode of Old Man Squad Fantasy Basketball, episode 9 of the off season. I'm doing it every year. I think I can actually keep track of this. And then by like episode 25 or 30, you guys have to deal with me literally counting it out on air because I don't actually do the thing I talk about where I'm hashing days into the prison wall. It's a joke. I don't do it for real. My older kid is home from school today. It's a random Thursday off day in the tail end of April. So we're doing the best we can with him doing some homework in the other room. So be forewarned, there may be a child that runs through at some point on today's program. I'm Dan Besbris. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Hope you guys are enjoying the new content we have on our channel. The great Noah Rubin coming through in the clutch with Dynasty shows. Pretty cool. You know you love it. I know the dead of the offseason is not exactly high tide, but I do appreciate you guys all hanging out with us. Some of you actually are new. I think we got like a new subscriber over the last 2 or 3 days. That's cool. You don't expect that at the end of April. So hang out with us, and thank you in advance for doing so. This is where we left off from our last mock review at pick 20, which was Kevin Durant over in this neck of the woods. And we're coming back in the second round as a 14-team, way too early industry mock that we're just sort of looking to see where guys might go next year. Don't worry about who's grayed out. I think it has to do with who's been eliminated from the playoffs. Fantrax trying to keep things fresh for playoff leagues and making it more complicated for us to actually talk about this. Next name on the board at number 21 was LeBron James, who... Fade LeBron at your peril. He was number 19 this year, played in 72 out of 82 ball games. Was another good value. I have no idea how he keeps doing it. How does he keep getting away with this? 22 by totals, pretty much where he was drafted last year. Even slipped into the third in a couple of drafts. And sure enough, there he is again. Looking good. I don't know how you do it. Man's a freaking cyborg. Jalen Williams at 22. Perfectly reasonable spot for him. He finished at number 23 per game, with seemingly still untapped potential of improved free throw numbers. The fact that that was actually a small negative for him could be flexed up. I mean, if he even shoots 2 or 3% better, he moves probably 5 slots earlier. But again, like we've talked about it, just don't screw up your first 3 picks. And Jalen Williams is very much a don't screw it up first 3 rounds picks. Dyson Daniels went at number 23. He was number 14 this last year. I do wonder if he can do 3 steals a game again next season. 49% from the field, 59 at the free throw line, which seems insane, but that was what happened. Absolutely terrible free throw shooter for a guard, but 3 steals a game, hard to argue with. Problem, of course, is not that you can... Okay, so just for a point of comparison, where does Dyson Daniels end up if you don't care about steals? 133rd. That's not to say that like steals are important. Obviously, you want to get them somewhere, but they're out there, and they're out there a little bit later. And as much as I've loved Dyson Daniels this season, the fact that we got him at 120 was the big reason I loved it. I don't think I would draft him in the second round next year. You're sort of hanging too much on one category. Jalen Brunson here at 24. I don't know that I fully understand this one. Brunson was number 51 per game this year. And it wasn't because of any one thing that he did poorly. He's a bad rebounder because he's little, but like pretty good percentages. Turnovers were not all that crazy. A steal, 26 points, 2.5 threes, 7 assists a ball game. He's just not. You need that something. There needs to be either more rebounds or one of the percentages needs to be a big positive. And I don't, unless the Knicks lose a usage guy, I don't know how that changes much. He's relatively durable. He had that bad ankle sprain that kept him out for about a dozen games, and he pretty much played every game besides that, so I guess there's that part of it. But I didn't get Brunson going in the 20s this year, and I don't get him going in the 20s next year. It feels like this is probably what he is. LaMelo Ball at 25, I will kindly pass. I'm so sick of LaMelo Ball. And I get it. At some point, he's going to have that good health year, and I'm not going to be a part of it. But you guys listened to yesterday's show. I screwed myself so hard by taking LaMelo Ball after I specifically said I don't want anything to do with LaMelo Ball. Basically, I need to see him have a healthy year under his belt, and then I'll believe that he could do it again. But he did it his second year, and he hasn't done it in any of the last three. We also need to believe that the Hornets are going to try to win, which I hope they will next year. But you never know with this organization. You just never know. There's a lot of fun stuff going on with Ball. 4 threes a game is cool. 25, 7.5, 5 rebounds, over a steal, good free throw shooter, terrible turnovers, terrible field goal percent. But, with little tweaks and health, he can be a top 20 guy. I think we're putting too much on it. Evan Mobley at 26. That's interesting. It's not interesting because there's anything wrong with it. Mobley was great this year. I think it's just interesting that the market is starting to adjust to it now. He was number 25 per game, only missed 9 games. So by totals, he was pretty much right in that same general area, maybe even a tiny bit sooner. Uh, what happened was what we kind of assumed would happen, which was last season we saw field goal percent bounce up for Evan, but we didn't see a playing time bounce because he was hurt for part of the year. This year, health, playing time, faster offense, all that stuff came together to give you the Mobley we have right now. And if you bet on Evan Mobley yesterday, well, if you bet on the Cavs, they actually didn't cover, so that was a bad segue. Cleveland won by 9. Game they were favored by a dozen. Mobley did have 20 points and 6 boards because he's good. He actually led, second on the team in minutes played behind Donovan Mitchell, who has cranked it up for the playoffs after kind of cruise controlling it during the regular season. I was gonna make a fun little bet online segue, but I screwed it up. So betonline_AG is their Twitter handle. Check out Bet Online today, the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all sports betting action. You can get down on baseball, hockey playoffs, basketball playoffs, UFC. Bet Online remains your number one online source for all sports wagering info. In between games, head down to the Bet Online Casino with all the top Vegas style games, including more than 15 different types of blackjack alone. They've got poker, they've got a live casino, they've got slots. It's all there. You can check it out immediately. You know me, I prefer the sports book. That's where I hang out, or I have for a long time, not as much lately. Today, Thunder on the road in Memphis. Denver is on the road in Los Angeles to take on the Clippers. Those are the two basketball games going on today. Clippers 5.5-point home favorites. Memphis 9.5-point home underdogs. We finally have a game where we can feel comfortable. No, there's no such thing as comfort. Nuggets Grizz. Do we think that ball game goes under 213? Do we think it just keeps slowing down? Maybe. Series as they go, they tend to move a little more and more and more towards the under. Oh, wait, Knicks and Pistons go today also. Third game. Missed it. That one's basically a pick 'em. I really have no idea what the hell happens in that ball game. I might lean towards the under there also. But whatever you choose, do it in moderation and bet online. The game starts here. I actually like Mobley at 25. If I could get him in the third round, I think I'd be relatively satisfied. I don't think he's going to be a whole heck of a lot worse. I don't think he's going to be a whole heck of a lot better. Again, don't screw it up. Early pick. That's basically where you're at there. Devin Booker at 27. Yeah, it's pretty safe. He was number 34 this year. He was durable. He was basically Jalen Brunson, but with better free throw shooting. That's the difference, by the way. If you're looking for like basically equivalent fantasy games, Brunson beat Booker by 0.7 points. They had the exact same number of 3-pointers per game. Booker had an extra rebound. Basically the same assists, same steals, same blocks. Brunson by 2% shooting, Booker by 7% at the free throw line. That's pretty much why Devin was better. Was the extra rebound and the 7% free throws. By the way, if you think Brunson can get his foul shooting up to what Booker's at, that would make him a safer second round pick. Also, we have no idea what the Suns are gonna do this offseason in terms of possibly blowing it up. If Kevin Durant gets traded for scraps, Booker gets to go crazy. De'Aaron Fox at 28, eh, that's fine. Weirdly, he wasn't a punt free throw guy this year. Fox is actually a positive at the foul line, but the three-point shooting tapered off. And I'll be honest with you guys, I don't really know exactly what he's going to do in San Antonio. I think it's going to be pretty similar to what he did in Sacramento at full health. Is he better this coming year after the hand surgery kind of fixes him up? I don't know. Does the free throw number come back down and the field goal number come back up? Possibly. I think Fox is a relatively safe third round pick. I know at 28 here he's still in this draft's second round, but yeah, I mean if you want to take him in the third, that's probably fine. Jalen Johnson at 29, also a relatively safe third round pick. He was number 21 this year before going down with a shoulder injury that knocked him out for the season. He's amazing. His fantasy game is incredibly robust. Remember, he got off to actually a slow start, believe it or not, this past season. I know it almost seems insane to think of it that way. Uh, and he didn't play the final 3 months of the year. But if you look at the numbers, Jalen Johnson was like number 70, mostly because of free throws and turnovers. And as that stuff got squared away, he started working his way up the board fast. Finished at 19 and 10 with 5 assists, 2.6 defensive stats, more than one three-pointer a game, 50% from the field, 75 at the foul line, 2.9 turnovers per game. Do we think he can stay healthy for a season? I really don't know, but he is very much a second round per game guy with a little bit of risk attached to him. But that's why I think you could take him in the third and feel okay about it. He's not a don't screw it up pick now, based on the fact that he hasn't been able to stay healthy for a couple of seasons. But man, there's just the upside there is through the roof. All right. 30. Pick 30. Keep track of all this stuff, I think. Yeah. Bam Adebayo at pick 30. So Jimmy Butler being gone would probably be the impetus here. Bam also kind of got his percentages together last 25, 30 games of the year. I don't think you could necessarily put that on Butler, but over that stretch, he was number 18 in fantasy, 20 points, 9 boards, 4 assists, 1.4 steals, zero point 0.6 blocks, 50-80 were the splits for Bam. I don't know that the free throw is going to stay at 80. It does feel like field goal can stay closer to 50 than it was at the beginning of the year. And with Butler gone now, I feel much better about Adebayo as an early round pick. I know that Khalil Ware is technically the center over that stretch, but I'm not super worried about what they do to one another. Bam is Bam. He's going to get his stuff, and they can kind of alternate on who plays towards the back end. So very much a safe. Now this is Adebayo is the definition of a don't screw it up early round pick, but now he has some built-in upside that he didn't have before Butler got shipped out of town. Jaren Jackson at pick 31. Also, kind of a don't screw it up pick. He was number 37 this year, got off to a really strong shooting start. He was at like 55% from the field. That fell to 48, which is probably a more repeatable number. Only 1.5 blocks a game this year, which could potentially be a little bit better next season. But again, if you're talking about, is this a guy that won't screw up my team in the early rounds? Yeah. And he was number 15 by totals because he was pretty damn durable. So a lot to like about JJJ. The problem, of course, there was that he did trend down as the season went on. He was number 59 the second half of the year because the percentages tapered off. He doesn't rebound, and the blocks were low over the last 2.5, 3 months. He only blocked 1.3 shots per game. So you take those away from him, and there isn't a whole lot of upside around the shot blocking. And for that reason, he is very much a don't screw it up pick, but there's not much in the way of upside there. And if there is, it's if the blocking comes back. So not my favorite, but not terrible at what did I say this was? 31. Not a terrible third round pick. Not great, not terrible. Franz Wagner also going in the third round, which I think is probably where we see him go. This season is kind of a hard one to handicap. He finished at 38 per game. He had a first round run when Paolo Banchero was out. Paolo came back, and Franz was like kind of around 60 the second half of the year. which is where I had him pegged when we handicapped him to start this season. He was going in the 40s, and I was like, I like him at 60. And that's basically where he was when the Magic were mostly healthy. I don't think I'm taking him in the third round. I think he's probably slightly inflated by the Paolo absence. I would much prefer to take him in the fourth or fifth. If he gets there, I suppose we don't know. Kristaps Porzingis went next in this mock draft. Porzingis is always going to be your roto only guy. He played 44 games this season, despite only missing the first month with the season opening injury. So he had like high 60s in games he could have gotten to, and then basically missed another 20 just due to being Kristaps. Being Kristaps coming this summer. No chance. I'm taking him in the third round. None. What is this? 33? Yeah, that's too early. He just misses too many games. Roto, you could take him in the fourth. Head to head, I think I would try to take him late fourth, early fifth, even if you considered it. I might not even do it. Derek White, hot start, cool middle, hot ending. He finished at number 31 per game, 78. He played 70. Oh, no, that's not right. He didn't get to 78 games. That's including playoffs. I think he was at like 76. What was the regular season for White? I've got everything all rolled together right now. I'll look it up. The magic of the interwebs. 76. I had that. I got that right. He's pretty durable though. Played 82 games 2 seasons back, 73 games last year, 76 this season. Even for a Celtics team that likes to give guys days off, he still got out there and he still played most of his ball games. Derek White is very much a don't screw it up third or fourth round pick. I love it. Love him there. Desmond Bane at pick 35 here. I'm losing track of the numbers because of the whole 14 round thing. Seems quite reasonable. I got no problem with Bane at 35. Where the hell did he finish this season? 33. Okay. Yeah. I don't have any thoughts on this at all. He should go at the end of the third round. That's Desmond Bane territory. Scotty Barnes, last pick of the third round in a normal 12 teamer. Where did he finish this season? 62. 44.5% from the field is the big one there. The blocks are also lower, which I think we kind of already knew. I'd have no problem at all taking Scotty Barnes late 30s, early 40s. I think he's better next year than he was this past season. Although some of that's going to come down to whether or not we think Toronto is trying. Big differences for him. Field goal percent was down 3. Blocks were down by about a half per game. 2 seasons back, he played 35 minutes a night. This past year, he played 33 on a team that was mostly kind of packing it in. I think he probably climbs back up into the 40s on a per game side. So, I mean, do I want to take him at 36? I'd be okay with it, but he wouldn't be my first choice there. There's other guys on the board that you guys can see here on YouTube that would be more interesting anyway. Kyrie Irving at 37, and that's one that we'll know more about as we get a return to play timeline. Expectation is that he's out until mid-season next year, but I don't know for sure. At least not now. If we get a report that Kyrie's going to miss like the first 2 months, yeah, you're not blowing a fourth round pick on a guy like that. As good as he might be, I mean, you might get 25 games out of him next year. That's a distinct possibility. Chet Holmgren at 38. I got no problem with that. Chet's numbers this year artificially depressed by playing 27 minutes a game while working his way back from that nasty, nasty hip deal. Still finished at number 39 per game this season, which was almost entirely because of the stuff he was dealing with. Remember, last year, he played all 82 games at about 30 minutes per night, and he was number 20. Shout out to my dude, Thunder Dan Palio. I know he's a big Chet Holmgren guy. This is the year to cash in because Chet is not number 39 if he's playing full starters minutes. And, folks might see it in the playoffs, and hopefully it doesn't remind them of that. This past year, I was down on Chet, not because I thought he was going to have a nasty hip injury, but I just thought, going around 20 kind of capped him out with Isaiah Hartenstein in town. I mean, look at OKC's last playoff game over Memphis. Chet played 33 minutes. He had 20 and 11 with 5 blocks and 3 threes. He's Kristaps Porzingis without a rest day every other night. This year he did because he was coming back from an injury. Next year he's going to play. I think Chet Holmgren, if you can get Chet Holmgren in the fourth, which is effectively what this is, pick 38, that to me would be a huge win. Jamal Murray at pick 39. He actually ended up with one of the best fantasy seasons out there, and nobody even really noticed. Jamal was number 20 in 9-cat this year. 21 points, 4 boards, 6 assists, 1.3 steals. He had half a block and 2.5 3-pointers on 47-89 splits from the field. He was great. He only missed 13 games. I know it felt like he was out a long time, but Jamal Murray was basically a second rounder per game and totals this year. And if he falls back into the fourth again, I am 100% doing it. I was a little worried to take him in the fourth this year. He started to fall into the fifth at the end of draft season, and I'm sad that I didn't get him anywhere. But I was targeting him by the end. Ivica Zubats is the next name on the board. He's going at pick 40. Yeah, I mean, we saw what happened last year and or this past season, I should say. He was number 32, played in all but I think 2 games. I think he missed 2 games all season long. He was amazing. And he got his free throw stroke figured out by halfway through, so that trended up to 66, thank the good Lord, by the end of the season. It was down around like 48 at the beginning of the year. I knew that wasn't going to stick. But he shot 75% of the foul line the second half, I think. Am I getting the timing right on that? Yeah. Last 40 games, he shot 75% of the free throw line. He was number 17 over that stretch. And I don't see the Clippers changing all that much in their front court season over season. I guess maybe they bring in someone that's slightly more capable as a backup, but Zubats is the man on that team. He's a second rounder if he's shooting his free throws well. So getting him in the fourth, still a possible value. It's going to hurt after we got him at 80 or whatever it was this past year. Remember, he started draft season outside the top 100. Those were the days. Alperen Şengün now going back of Ivica Zubats. What a world. What a world. But it actually makes sense because as I told you guys at the beginning of the year, Şengün was being overdrafted because he's a center that gets assists. Like Zubats, he has a tough time with free throw line, but Alperen gets there way more often. He took almost 6 foul shots a game, where Ivica took just 3. So if both guys are clanging away at the free throw line, you want the one that's getting there only half the amount of time. Yes, it's fun. The assists are great for Şengün, 5 a game. He gets a steal. He gets almost a block. The 50% shooting is fine. But he's number 86 this year. If you weren't punting free throws, and that's just not enough to justify him going in the third round last year, or frankly, maybe even in the fourth this season, unless you're punting. I don't think I'm a Şengün hater necessarily. I just think that this ends up in a discussion that we can save for another podcast. Can you win your fantasy league taking Şengün in the third round? Yeah. Can you win it taking him in the fourth round? Sure. Could have done it last year too, even though he finished at 86. But if you're not punting free throws, you're making life harder on yourself. That is to say, like, and it comes back to the Giannis discussion. And I think Josh and I argued about this on a podcast, but it's a really fun discussion. You can win your fantasy league taking Giannis in the first round while not punting free throws. You can come back from it, but it's the hard route. It's the hard way to do it because it takes, 2.5 Shai Gilgeous-Alexanders at the foul line to make up for what Giannis hurts you there to just get back to dead even. And free throws fluctuate from a week to week thing. You might win it 2 or 3 weeks in your head-to-head league. But if you're going into your playoffs in that particular league and you're hoping to win free throws, you're probably not going to. Unless you're going up against another team that is also punting free throws. So just make life easy on yourself is my discussion. It's always been the main point here on Old Man Squad Fantasy Basketball and even back to the old days. My goal was to simplify fantasy basketball, where hopefully what I can give to you guys is a strategy where you can win your league spending a couple hours a week on it instead of what I have to do or what analysts do, which is 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 hours a week on it. Simplify the game. Don't take a punt guy unless you're punting that category, or don't take them. Let me rehash that because Zubats was kind of a punt free throw guy. Don't take a punt dude who's at their punted ceiling if you're not actually punting that category. I think that made sense. Maybe it did in my head. Tyler Hero, pick 42. And yeah, I mean, that's totally fine. He had a great shooting season. That's part of why he was so successful this year at number 29, I think, roughly around there during the regular season. Um, really didn't miss much time either, which was a nice plus for him. And look, I don't think his efficiency is going to stay as great as it was this past season. I think we just sort of caught Hero on at the perfect moment because he's a 45% shooter for his career. He was up around 47 this year. He did tail off towards the end of the season. Steals were better than usual, although the part of that could be traced to being healthy and playing 35 minutes a game instead of 33. That does help a little. The thing I'd be optimistic about with Hero is that Butler's gone. So it's sort of his offense now. And like he's going to take 19, 20 shots most ball games. And that's a lot of usage. So yeah, I got no problem with it. I wasn't a big Tyler Hero guy this last year. We missed on that one, or just missed out on it, I guess we should say. Um, but there's very little standing in his way now. And, if he's taking 19, 20 shots instead of 17 or 18, that's just more good stuff, more assists, more scoring, more threes, more positive impact free throw shooting because Hero's a good foul shooter. 87, 88% this past year. The field goal was good enough that it wasn't a big negative. So, like, there really is almost no downside to him getting more usage. And I think we can probably stop around 42. I see no reason to push this too far. I mean, we'll stretch this thing out. This is a really interesting uh exercise in just sort of like seeing where guys might end up. Those of you watching on YouTube, you can see the next names on your screen, so you know what we're going to talk about next time. But that is episode 2 of our mock review. We're going to talk about it a little more with Adam King next week as well. We'll got some more lessons learned coming up. Please remember to subscribe so you get all the new stuff. Kingy's new show is dropping next week. Noah's show is off and cooking. There's another episode dropping today as he works his way through the entire NBA from a dynasty standpoint. That's right. We got dynasty stuff here at Old Man Squad now. Thanks, Noah. You the man. I'm Dan, at Dan Vespers on Twitter, Old Man Squad on Blue Sky. Old Man Squad on Twitter is actually the network feed, so all the shows that we drop here are going to come out over there as well. And I'll see you tomorrow while we wrap up week 2 of the fantasy offseason. Adios.